All right, welcome to Heaven on Earth, the last one in May 31st. This is midnight. We are at the Mother Ranch in Longmont, Colorado. We're going to do a little meditation and then wisdom sharing. And the theme for today is on compassion and forgiveness. And the horses may join in different ways. For instance, right now, clearly Winter wants to be a part of it as well. Come stand behind me, buddy. That's the best way to do this. There's nothing else in there. All right. He thinks there's more food available, but there is not. They're all going to come in now because they think there's food in this container. So let's just give it a second as they all want to. They're literally all right here. So there's Sweetness again. And Lita, there's no more food, loves. All right. So what we're going to do is kind of a loving kindness, compassion centering. And you can keep your eyes open or you can close them. It's really up to you. And start to just wiggle your toes inside of your shoes. Starting to feel the earth a little bit more. Salita's offering us taking more breath. So just dropping in and breathing. Allowing yourself to feel surrounded by horses, donkeys. And place yourself in sort of a protective bubble of white light, like an egg of white light. So you can just kind of land in this safe space. And as you start to just connect your feet, your heart, and your breath inside of this white light, this eggshell, this big egg that you're sitting in, filled with light. And starting to just silently say, I am relatively safe. In this moment, I am safe. Just keep bringing awareness to your feet, your heart, and your breath. And anywhere there's tension or irritation in the body, if you can just send your breath to that place and just start to breathe and let that wind of the breath wash away that tension. And you can say, I soften this part. I soften this part. I relax this part. And start to really fill yourself with just your own energy. So saying your name and saying, I am my energy. I am filled with just my own energy. And now just kind of taking back all of your energy or your power from anywhere you may have given it to. Intentionally pulling back your power from all places where you may have let it go towards. Allowing that to fill your body with just more of your own energy, your own light, your own power. Now bringing in the quality of inner strength, that strength and firmness that the horses hold, bringing that into your body. And again, just picturing the strength and the softness of horses circled all around you, protecting you, offering their wisdom to you. And from your heart center, either with your hand on your heart or just very intentionally, send out some love from your heart to that circle of horses around you. Now feel that love, unconditional love and power of the horse's heart coming back towards you. Filling your heart with more love than you even thought was possible. Breathing and allowing in that love to fill every cell of your being. And anything that's not of that vibration of love, allowing it to just gently fall out. Down through the bottom of your feet, composting into the earth. Allowing any emotional or physical, thought-based negativity to just drop from you down through your feet into the earth. Allowing more space for this unconditional love from the horses. Now picturing the sun above your head, just bathing you with golden light, purifying all of your cells, allowing in more light into your body. Allowing that light to know what to do, to transform you. Feeling like it's a big bit of rest for your body to have this light. To fully restore and replenish your body. allowing your whole system to become more and more relaxed, more and more connected to the earth, more and more in love. And allowing yourself to feel at one with the herd that's standing all around you. Allow yourself to receive their gifts. Allow yourself to just become one with them and connected to them. Seeing which parts of the horses that you want more connection to. Breathing in their breath. So grounding in through the power of the horse. Maybe their behind is turned to you and you're able to feel like your 2 legs is as strong as 4 on the ground. Allowing the horses to hold space for you as your body and your consciousness rests and rejuvenates. Feeling like you have support from sweetness and sweet energy. Allowing it to come into your heart so that you're sweeter to yourselves and to others. Allowing yourself to feel the leadership, the lead mare who knows how to take care of herself, take care of others. And from this kind of centered place, the integration of these energies, their hand on your heart, just silently repeat, I am growing in compassion. I am more compassionate to myself and others. I am more compassionate to my inner child, to my inner teen, to my adult self. I am willing to forgive myself for past mistakes. I'm willing to forgive myself for all the ways I have been unkind to myself in the past. I'm willing to forgive all the judgments. I'm willing to forgive others and my judgments of others. Now maybe think of one person that's a little bit hard to forgive. And just be willing to make the statement, I'm willing to forgive so-and-so, whatever that name is for you. Maybe there's a couple names. I'm willing to forgive. I'm willing to forgive. I'm willing to forgive. I'm willing to forgive. Coming back into that compassionate heart, allowing the judgment to be swept away through the gentle brushing of a horse's tail. Just picturing that tail brushing your head and your face, all those mental judgments. Allowing that tail to sweep all that energy off, dissolving it on contact. And allowing yourself to rest in your true nature, which is ultimate compassion and love, acceptance, joy, peace, presence. Allowing more of those qualities to be with you now. Maybe picture the horse's nose coming and touching your heart and giving you more of those qualities. Easily and gracefully. Activating them inside your heart, in your whole body. Giving you permission to express them more, to appreciate them more, and to allow them more. And maybe at this moment, it feels appropriate to reach out and give your younger self a big hug or a big cuddle. Maybe a rub on the back, brush of the hair. That younger version of you that at times didn't feel safe here, or heard, or seen, or loved. What was protected because you're now an adult. That was loved even if it didn't look the way you wanted. That was seen even if no one told you. And that was heard even if you didn't realize it. And now, with this herd of horses circling you, allow them to see you and your younger self. Allow them to witness you through their eyes. Allow them to hear you with their ears perked up and forward, listening to you. Allow them to love you completely as you are, in total perfection, in total acceptance. And allow them to make you feel even safer here, guarded by that bigness, that power, and that presence. So, in this compassionate place with your younger self, if there's anything you want to say to that part of you from the place of compassion, if there's anything the horses want to say to you from that place, just take a moment and listen and share and receive. Breathing in, allowing that, receiving that. Breathing it in even deeper. Maybe it's time to bring your body into this and just as a horse would, blowing out your lips, letting all of this integrate through your lips, moving like a horse's would, and blowing it out. Maybe taking a deep sigh. Maybe taking a stretch. Maybe dropping deeper into your chair, feeling your sit bones. Starting to come out of this space. Maybe you're touching your legs with your hands or your arms. Coming into, this is a havening technique, touching your arms. It's allowing yourself to feel loved and supported by yourself. It's actually great for your nervous system. Starting to come back into the room. And maybe as you open your eyes, noticing the first thing that your eyes fall on, seeing if that has a message for you. See if it has any meaning, any representation for you. Take another deep breath. And before we do wisdom sharing, just starting to acknowledge we've had midnight behind us, sharing space and territory. Salita just got up from sleeping to join and be here. Sweetness has been holding space off camera right to the right, and now he's behind me. And you can see by looking straight up, you can see this. Right next to us is Rain. She's been breathing. You may have heard her clear, a little bit of energy by blowing out. She's been licking and chewing at the good work you guys are all doing here. Your willingness to open and receive today. Your willingness to show up and be here. You have full support from this herd. They have never come this close all at once to do one of these before. So feels like there's some special energy happening today, which I'm excited about. And I just want to welcome Caroline has joined, and it looks like Melanie has joined, and Roberta has joined, so thank you. All right, so feel free to let me know how you feel in the chat. I'm going to go into the wisdom share since these guys are ready to rock right behind us here. You can see all of them. Almost all of them. Winter is the only one not right collectively with us, but he's behind the shed, and I can tell he's like kind of holding the container in the space. But there's a reason he's not right here with us. So, yeah, feel free to let me know if you guys had any awareness on that or anything came forward or how you might be feeling right now. I feel a lot more centered, a lot more peaceful. So for those who are just joining, the theme today is compassion and forgiveness. And this came in yesterday, partly through something I was reading, but also really just in thinking about what we need the most right now because of everything that's going on in the world and has been for a couple of months and quite frankly, a very long time that we're now kind of seeing shifts and changes around. So without me getting into a space of being political on any level, because I really like to rise into a higher spiritual understanding of things, please take anything I share with a grain of salt. with your own filter. I'm sorry if there's some wind. Rain's doing her best to block it. Her nose is literally like about 2 inches above this camera. So you guys can feel her. She's literally dropped in above all of you energetically. Sweetness is still kind of moving some energy back here, as you can see. So, yeah, so take what resonates, as always, throw away what doesn't. Essentially, you know, I have my own opinions based on my own background, and so do all of us, and they're all valid. And I think the big thing right now, yeah, I hear you. It is sad to see what's going on. You're so welcome to be receiving this. So part of what I've been experiencing lately, I did a Shabbat yesterday, which, you know, I'm not Jewish. What they are is they're just really resets for me. So I turn all technology off and I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything. And it's for me to have my own inner experience and to see what arises from that. I was here at the ranch for part of it, so I did drive, I did do that. But essentially what I realize right now, there you go, now you're gonna see the lip, is there's multiple realities going on, right? The thing that I like to remember is there's 7 billion people plus here, and so there's 7 billion plus realities. And the horses and nature have their own as well. And that's what the purpose, you know, when all of COVID happened, I sat in meditation and said, what do you want me to do now? Okay, I got it. So Sweetness is talking about us filling our cups. Yes, that's a lot of what I did yesterday. And he's actually now talking, you can't see him, hold on. He's talking about what happens when we feel angry. We're gonna get there, we're going there. So sorry, I will get distracted by them sometimes. We'll see if I can get back on point. The different realities. So the intention of this was originally came in as Church with Katie, which I laughed at because I'm not religious. And I'm like, I don't know what this whole church thing is, but essentially what Heaven on Earth is the anchoring of the divine here on earth and doing it through the animals, right? Being able, oh, sorry, sweetie. Nailed you there, I didn't mean to. Being able to kind of connect in with their eyes and who they are as a way to, there you go, good boy. As a way to anchor into our hearts and into love, not really bypassing what's going on and the other energetics of anger and sadness, because they're very real and very present right now. And, you know, what happened to me yesterday while I was here, I wasn't going to share this, but I guess I am now, is Winter actually took his head and smashed my nose. It's never happened to me before. And my immediate response was, I'm not safe. And I started sobbing. And I sat down, and instead of reprimanding him or being upset about it, I started to process what that meant for me and what it was providing, what the belief systems were. And at first I thought he was being rude and violent and whatever. And then I realized what he was able to unsurface inside of me was all of these beliefs and fears and insecurities that needed to come up and out. And so within just a couple of minutes, I felt like I had literally had, oh, that's why he hit this. So this is a scooper where we put food in. And what it felt like yesterday was someone had gone in and scooped out literally all of the junk that had been inside of me around everything over the last few months, but much deeper to early childhood and beyond. And I literally felt cleansed, like to the deepest level of my being. Winter knows I'm talking about him, so he's going to come back. And I think he needed to hear me share that story. Yesterday, I thanked him. Most people would have punished a horse that did that. But what it felt like in many ways was a chiropractic adjustment, but through my nose. And I've never felt clear, and I still feel so super clear, like there's no tension in my body and hasn't been. And I said to him, you can't do this with my clients because they're not necessarily going to understand at the level I do. But it doesn't hurt. It hurt for a second, and it surprised me and it shocked me. But what it did is it brought me immediately to confront the stuff that I've been trying to push away. And so what the horses will often say is, be willing to confront the deepest and darkest places, Rain's going like this, so that we can move through them. And as soon as I got here, the woman who owns the Mother Ranch was talking to me, and we were saying how we need to shine a light on some of the darkness right now. Otherwise, it's not going to change. And it's not going to lift necessarily on its own, right? So the lightness that I want to shine is the qualities of compassion. And there's Winter now kind of behind me, having heard that story. So the light that I want to shine is around compassion and forgiveness. So compassion is something that I did not understand the meaning of until my second year at USM, where I got my master's in spiritual psychology. And every year at USM, they have us choose a quality. And so we did a meditation, and the quality actually chooses us. It's in a box and it becomes available to us. Mine was compassion. And I freaked out knowing, well, if I have to learn compassion, that means I'm going to go through some suffering to understand it. And got through a year without having to go through the challenge. And then the man I was dating lost his hand in a car accident, and I had to drive out and be with him in the hospital. And I had the first experience of what compassion felt like fully in my body, which is my definition of compassion as being fully present with ourselves while we are fully present with another being. So by no means sacrificing who and what we want, right? You might need to give her some space right now. She's telling you to do that. Sweetness is right here, but Rain is like not 100% happy about it. So it's interesting, right? Two different realities, two different perspectives, so you're going to see her move him out of the way. Sweetness, why don't you come on this side, sweetie? Come over here. So, and different opinions being expressed, right? In real time, from horses, from us. All are valid. And Midnight's back now. Rain's really exhibiting a lot of wanting to have her own space and wanting to be the one doing this. So you can kind of see a little bit of this dynamic happening. So what is the piece around compassion is like, how can we stay in touch with our needs, right? Our need to cry even though we may need to be strong for someone, our need to have a good meal even though we feel like we should be at the hospital 24/7, right? And right now, some of us aren't even aware of what our own needs are. A lot of the women I coach that's the first thing we're trying to do, is get in touch with what are your own needs so that we can even meet them. If we don't know what they are, we can't meet them. So it's getting that inner wisdom activated and the intuition to understand it. So compassion, also learned from my master's program, is that compassion has a feeling at times of being unbearable. And the definition of passion is connected to suffering. So compassion is to be with that which is suffering. That meaning either ourselves, a part of us, someone else, something else. And it can be unbearable. I think it is, correct me if I'm wrong on this quote, Peggy, because I know you know this quote, but I think it was Ram Dass who said it. And, at some point there's nothing left but unbearable compassion. And what that means is the heart is so activated by what it sees in the world or in ourselves. It's seeing the suffering, and it has nothing else to do but just feel this intensity in the heart center, which can feel like grief. It can feel like sadness. It can feel like hopelessness or helplessness. It can feel like all these things. And to just know that at times it feels unbearable, and to be with that, and to be okay with that, to make it okay, to not try to change it or stuff it. Winter was like, you're going to get that smack upside the head yesterday. And I thought I was doing my inner work because I'm here all the time doing my inner work. But clearly I had not done the shadow piece or the darker piece or the really core piece. So he knocked it literally right out, boom, back into my head. My jaw started to hurt, and then all of a sudden, massive peace, and everything felt so much better, and still does today. And what's interesting is he didn't just hit me and then walk away, because then I would have thought that was rude. what he did was he hit me, and then he stood with his head right here, and he just held it, and he was talking to me while it was happening. He's like, you needed this, you're okay, I've got you, you're safe. And he was telling me to stop giving so much, which I find interesting because I love giving, but he was really asking me to kind of knock it off and to stop overdoing and overgiving. And that's funny, I know that because that's something I work with my clients on, is over responsibility stuff. But I guess I wasn't aware of how I needed to slow it down even more until he taught me that. Well, Sweetness is like kind of agreeing. He's over here giving us some cuddles. Let's see if you can see his eyes a little more. Oh, there we go. I love those eyes. And so what I've been doing now when I am coming to be with the horses is, instead of me, it happened because I was trying to give Winter scratches. I was like, let me give you some scratches, and boom, that's when this happened. And so I had to sit in compassion with myself and with him yesterday, right? And I'm sharing a little horse story. I know there's so much bigger, deeper stuff going on in the world. I'm aware of that. But hopefully through this story, or my personal story, you might find some metaphor. You might find some meaning in it. But I had to find compassion with the parts of me inside that were like terrified, that were confused, that were feeling really unsafe, that maybe was giving so that I didn't have to put up with some of these inner demons that I had to really exercise. And that is exactly what happened yesterday. They're gone. Been able to sleep better since it happened. I've been able to just relax more and care a lot less. I want to show you something. All three of them are lined up in the direction of this camera. It's so neat. So there's Winter in the middle there. Here's Midnight, and then you've got Rain. So when they do this, when you see that kind of, that's alignment. They're often sharing, and there's really a trifecta energy going on here right now. So you have, I'll just say it, you've got the white male horse, the black male horse, and this lead mare. Now, you guys want to find a metaphor in that? What's going to change on this planet in this dynamics that we're dealing with right now is the rise of the feminine and the leadership of the feminine, which is so much compassion, because a woman has to be compassionate to give birth, and has to be compassionate to raise kind of a healthy child, and be in that sense of like knowing that the collective good is the highest good. It's not our each individual's good, right? It's this we energy. And that doesn't just mean a woman. The feminine energy is in all of us. And it's important right now that it starts to come up. I've never seen them do this trifecta. So cool. I'll show you guys again. And Sweetness is right here too. So you've got Winter's actually a little more in the middle, but it looks like he's fully behind. Actually, he is fully behind Rain, the lead mare. All right, so cool stuff. You guys are doing awesome today. Thank you. I set my intention that this would be one of the best ones. And I'm so excited because the horses are so in it. So I could go on and on. Let me talk about forgiveness real quick, and then we'll go and kind of end with the goats here. Yes. So I think that the piece around compassion is knowing that it does feel uncomfortable at times. It can be painful because we are actively with that which is suffering, and how can we kind of see the different sides and then choose the compassionate action, right? And that may look for some people like a peaceful protest, peaceful. It may look like working in anger management with support. I know I've had to do that. You're such a sweetheart today, thank you. And it may look like being extra sweet to ourselves and others, as Sweetness would say here. And ultimately, what I think compassion looks like at its highest level is the acts of forgiveness, the willingness to forgive. So one of our skills in our master's program is called compassionate self-forgiveness. And it's not just called forgiveness, it's not just called self-forgiveness. It's bringing the energy of compassion. And so the quick way of doing it, if you want to do this on your own at home at any time, picture something you love, right? I can easily go into how much I love this guy. He's like he's literally one of my children. Feel the energy of how much you love that being. Direct your energy and love to them. Return it to yourself. Feel that energy in your body. And then from that place, feel the energy of compassion towards your statements of, and if you aren't fully ready to forgive someone, use the word willing. So you may be fully ready to forgive. I forgive such and such. I forgive my judgment of such and such. But if it's not fully there yet, the harder things to forgive, could we really feel righteousness around, you can say, I'm willing to. I'm willing to experience forgiveness around this situation. I'm willing to extend forgiveness to this unthinkable, unconscionable act. I'm willing to, Rain's over there talking. I'm willing to forgive the judgment or the misunderstanding, because that's a lot of what it is. The horses are all now moving. So we create a little bit of movement on that. But I'm willing to forgive myself for buying into the misunderstanding that the planet is a disaster right now, right? What if it's not? What if this is all in divine plan and purpose, even if it's so uncomfortable and not fun at times? Not even not fun, but just painful at times. And that's what Winter did yesterday. As soon as I mentioned that word painful, he's like, sometimes we do have to go in and feel that pain. And he did a tiny bit of physical pain so that I could release the emotional pain. And a lot of what it is letting go of control, which is what he's saying. Letting go of the fact that we think our way is the right way, or that we have to control what's happening. The fact of the matter is we can't really. So we can control how we view it. As he takes over the camera view. Go ahead, Winter. Go send them your love. See if you guys can feel his love. I see you. I know. You're lucky I let you touch my face. If he didn't give me the most incredible love and meditation after that yesterday, I would probably still be a little freaked out about him. But he's a gentle giant, and that's the thing right now, is we need discernment. We need discernment on what is gentle, and we need discernment on how we can be more gentle. He's so intentional about everything he does. I've never seen him do something stupid. I'm sure he can, but he's so intentional about clearing and healing. So super grateful, even if it wasn't fun to go through that level of pain. And I share that just as a metaphor. Even if it's not fun to go through this level of pain right now, there's something clearing and healing that needed to clear and heal, and probably wouldn't have been exposed otherwise. So, all right, love. No scratching right now because I got to finish this video. All right, so let me ask him to step back. Step back, please. Thank you. So to kind of wrap up the forgiveness piece, we're really forgiving our thoughts about stuff, because our thoughts and our judgments is what creates the changes and the challenges. So the thought or the judgment, sweetie, back up, please. Back up. And it's okay for me to ask also for the boundary, right? Which is what I'm doing right now with him. And I'd rather have the space to finish this and be present than having to navigate that, right? And so that's another piece for all of us, is that it's okay to have the boundaries, which is ultimately right now, if you need to not watch the news, you have permission. We know what's going on. It may not get better right away. Trust that you'll know what you need to know when it happens. The other piece is we may need to have boundaries with people who are saying the sky is falling, right? Especially if you hold a different reality inside, which is that it's going to be okay, right? We look back in history, for the most part, it has always been okay. And again, the light is just brighter now. It's just shining, so more is getting exposed. So we're seeing more. Stuff's getting reported, stuff's getting filmed, stuff's being exposed to us that couldn't have been exposed years and years ago because we didn't have cameras on phones. So there's a lot that has kind of always happened. It's just we're seeing it more now, and now there's more of what I'd call the uprising, right? Which in many ways is like, can we clear out some of these lower vibrations that need to clear, and these thoughts and these judgments? Can we forgive them? Can we hold compassion for them? And can we choose then, what would we choose if we were fully forgiving? What would we choose if everyone was forgiven? What would we choose if we believed that everyone was love? What would we choose if we only had the vision of love, right? So these are some of the things I kind of leave you with. We are like getting really close to running out of time here, so I'm going to get you guys up to the goats. I'm going to stop recording in a minute, but I want to give you a journal prompt, which you're going to do as I transition up to where the goats are, because it takes me a couple minutes to walk up there. And the question is, who and what do you need to forgive? So starting to make a list. And when I say what, it may be the judgment, right? It may be any level of our own prejudice towards anything, even our own prejudice towards ourselves in our own way. And what action do you want to take if everyone was fully forgiven? The energy of forgiveness is to forgive it up to God. So I will sometimes collect the darkness, put it in my hand, and hold it up and literally ask God, higher being, source, whatever you want to call it, just the power of love, to literally take it off my hand. Picture something taking it off my hand and dissolving it. So it's gone. I don't need to hold on to this stuff, because then I'm going to operate from a place of fear or judgment or scarcity or anger or blah, 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 blah. So it's like pulling it up or giving it up. So what is it that what action would you take if everyone was forgiven? And I'll share mine that just popped in. It's like, I think I would smile at a lot more people the way I smile at the horses, because it's extending a lot of trust and a lot of love through the eyes. I'll start with you guys. And also to myself is what came in, right? To be able to do that in front of a mirror, because the first person that we need to let off the hook and forgive and be compassionate with is ourselves. That's why I did that inner child piece earlier. All right, so journal on those, or journal on anything that came forward from you, from this today, around what does forgiveness mean to you? What does compassion mean to you? Maybe what the horses have taught you in the past around forgiveness and compassion, or maybe what you saw today that they're teaching you. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys journal, and I'm going to